Hey guys, this is Alan, and welcome back to Stationeers. So at the end of the last episode, I said I would prepare some resources for building some solar automation, and to that end, I've built a whole bunch of cable coil. There's actually another couple here. And then at the end of the episode, I had already built some logic. Um, so yeah, overnight I ate the last cereal bar that was in my suit, so let's go grab a couple more. I also spent a bit of time looking at the research machine to see sort of the things that I wanted to get to next. I wanted, for example, to look to make sure that I don't have to research anything to build the furnace, and I don't. It's actually in the auto lathe already, so that's good. But I did come across a few things that I think we'll want soonish in the tools. Here, actually, yeah, we have a bit of power now. I ran out overnight. In tools, basic fuel cells gets us the battery cell large. So yeah, that would be nice to have. Um, the personal lighting gets us the headlamp, which I don't remember if I've actually tried, so that might be fun to try. But under construction, I think I mentioned it last time, construction materials will get us access to steel. And then furnishings will get us kit furniture, which we're going to want before too long because we're going to want to build a workbench so that we can stick the microwave on it. Actually, we probably have to unlock the microwave too. Cuisine systems? Yeah. Okay, so cuisine systems also. Note to self, write that down on my list. But, so enough of that. I also put away... Okay. I put away the spoils from our last mining trip and then rejoined you as the sun came up. You can hear our power is critical, so that's awesome. So we'll have to keep an eye on the solar for a little bit because we're going to want to get that battery charged up. Also, I don't remember if I've seen it in videos recently, but if you hold C while doing adjustments on things like the screws on logic circuits and even on the solar panel, you can move in smaller increments. On the solar panel, that's 1% increments. I know that because in one of my Europa playthroughs, I often spent entire days tracking the sun, both horizontally and vertically, just to eke out enough power to get by. Yeah, that was fun, he says with a question mark. Actually, it was a lot of fun. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been doing it. So, yeah, this guy's coming up, actually, so that's good. I don't want to waste power, not waste, but use power really anywhere else just yet. So, let's do a little bit of prep work for our solar setup. I'm going to extend to the sides here, right here, and I'll go ahead and add one to our what will become our row of panels, just because I can at the moment. I also meant to throw that in there, put that there, because we're going to need a hand free so we can get out the welding torch. So we can build these up enough to stand on. I don't really need to build this bottom one, but just as a matter of course, I'll go ahead and do it. And I'll turn that off and put it away. I'm avoiding this corner because that looks like a physics crashing into things bug waiting to happen. I think I have a decent amount of room here. For this first part of the episode, I think I'm going to probably be... Seriously? Is it... I see. It's because we're not tracking on both axes, so we're not getting full efficiency. This battery... Where's our... Critical... This, I was going to see if I could see the color. Yeah, it's blinking. That's not good. Okay, so this guy's into like a high charge, so we'll at least stop that annoying alarm. And yeah, I'll kick that guy over. And now that we have a bit of power, I'm gonna do a half a thing of course the filter's low now. I'm gonna do a half a stack of copper because to get all the cable that I have now, I basically smelted up everything I did smelt up everything we have. So let's start with some solar logic. What I'm going to do is the single axis tracker that does the input angle minus 15 divided by 1.5. And if you're not familiar, the way it works is the sun basically goes, over us, and it's tilted off to one side as well. I think I can't tell from here, but it goes from 0 to 180 degrees over to the other horizon. But the solar panel goes from 0 to 100%, not degrees. And on top of that, the sun between about 0 and 15-ish degrees doesn't give us any extra sunlight. So what we actually want to do is start tracking once the sun hits about 15%. 15 degrees, we want the solar panel to be at 0%, and then through the day we want to follow that. And then at the end of the day, when the sun is at 180 minus 15 is 165 or whatever it is, we want the solar panel to be at 100%. So to do that, we can read the angle from this sensor, which is in degrees, and we can scale that by just subtracting 15 degrees and then dividing by 1.5. We'll turn that 150 degree range into 0 to 100. Another thing that I'm going to do is, in the past, I haven't worried much about having a reset circuit that brings us back to 0 at the end of the day, because if you have power, your logic will just, it'll track this way throughout the day, and then overnight it sort of tracks backwards because the numbers are basically reversed. But the problem is you need enough power to get through the night for that to work. And right now, this APC has a small battery cell in it, and I don't anticipate being able to build the large ones right away. So I'm going to try to implement a reset or return to 0 or however you want to call it. Ugh, we did not get a lot of power. This is why I want tracking, so we don't have to worry about this. We can just stick new batteries in there all day long. Yeah, efficiency's going up a little bit. What are we at? 96%? We'll just go to 100 and build upwards. I'm looking at the efficiency, not the... Never mind. So I'm going to try to implement a reset to 0 or home or whatever you want to call it. But I've deliberately, I know there are examples on the wiki, but I've deliberately not looked at those because I thought I wanted to try and figure it out myself. I have an idea. I don't know if it'll work. We're going to find out together. So, yeah, we'll come back over here. And what we printed up last time was actually I meant to print 2, but I printed 3 memories. Oh well. But we have logic I/O chips, and we can use these guys to read and write values. And so what I'm going to do is I don't tend to like do the thing where you try to make the absolute tightest layout, but I'm not going to like waste resources either. So yeah, that. We're going to need a logic reader to get the solar angle from the sensor. We're going to need a batch writer to send the value out to the solar panels. Since I've got the solar sensor pointed upward, I'll put my batch writer here. And sorry, I want the logic reader. We'll put it here. And so basically we'll use this line, which will be the data line. If you remember too, the cables carry both data and power. So on this network that's going to go here, we'll have both the signal coming from the solar sensor and the signal going to the solar panels, as well as the power for all of these chips. So we have a reader. We need a place to stick a couple of memories, and I think we can probably put those guys here because we're going to have wire down this way. We want a logic math, so we want a second logic math, and we're going to use a logic no, I don't really want those upside down because I'm not actually OCD, but I like to have things right side up in Stationeers. It doesn't matter. The electrons don't know the difference. And now I'm not paying attention, so I'm building the wrong thing. So we wanted logic math, and a logic. Yeah, a logic select. Wow, we are definitely going to need to build a greenhouse soonish. I'm going to gather a couple of other things up, and while we're here, we'll kick the solar panel over so that we get some sun in the morning. I should have probably already grabbed the labeler. That'll make things a little easier for us. And I don't normally paint my cables, but what the heck. So we'll grab some paint, the labeler, and... No, not that torch. I was going to grab a cereal bar since I'm over here. If you haven't seen it already in somebody else's video, when you paint items, instead of painting individual cables or pipes, if you want to paint a bunch of them, just throw them on the ground and paint the whole stack. They'll all turn whatever color you've chosen. It's a lot more efficient than painting everything individually. So what I'm going to do is bring this over and then up. I normally set this up a little bit differently, but let's just go with it. See what we get. I want a couple of junctions here. Oh, sorry, this is going to be a corner junction. And then back to regular junctions here. I'm going to leave that one there, assuming I'm going to need it for something. Straights there. Oh, I needed a junction there. And then I'm going to need a four-way junction here, I think. Here, here, and here. Oh man, I hope I have enough cable. This guy doesn't actually need to be a junction. We can use corners here and here. We do need to get down here. We'll need to get these guys. To save a little bit, we'll use just a junction here, even though we could go up. Or, yeah, we'll put a junction here, which gets us the last input there. There. Oh yeah, we do need this one. And so I think that's going to be everything wired up. And yeah, okay, so that guy has power. I'm going to leave them turned off because strange things can happen if you leave your circuits on, like this batch writer. If we have it on while we're adjusting these settings, we might do weird things to our solar panel. So, well, we don't really need to... Oh, weird, it said a light sensor. I don't really need to name that. It'll be the only one on this network, but we're going to call this memory 15. And if you point at one of these knobs, you can set the value with the labeler, which is nice. Call this memory 1.5. We'll call this solar angle reader. Subtract 15. Oh, we need one. Oh man. Okay. I need to change this. I actually need one more logic unit to do my... No, I want this guy there. Alright, let's do this. Actually want a... I need a logic compare here. And then I'm going to need to select also. So maybe we'll put this... you have room there? Want to do it later? Let's try it. Horsepower's low. Build one more circuit here. Or logic. Processor. So my concern is that if we put a large battery in the APC on top, we can go through the whole night before the solar tracking network drains the battery. But with a small battery, we can't. So what I want is at the end of the night, I want the solar panel to automatically go back to the start position so that in the morning... That's annoying. So that in the morning, the solar panels start charging the APC right away, and then the logic kicks on. Where can we do this efficiently? You know what? I'll come back to this later because I want to get this tracking something. No. Maybe I do want to, because the room to fit the memories over here. No. Because if I make changes later, if I want to use this spot, for example, I'll have to rearrange things. I'll just have to stick the additional circuit somewhere else. So we were labeling things. We'll call this guy, I'll just call it solar compare. And I'm doing this all from memory, so if I get it wrong, no laughing. So let's work forward. We want the solar angle reader to read from the daylight sensor, and we want to read the solar angle. I'm going to need another reader. Maybe I can't do my reset thing as easily as I wanted. Okay, so we're reading the solar angle here with this guy. We're going to take the solar angle reader and we're going to subtract memory 15. And then with this guy, we're going to subtract 15 and divide by memory 1.5. And then, no, I don't want to compare. I want a min-max. Yeah, min-max. Yeah, so from this guy, we want to divide by 1.5 in. Man, I am forgetting how this goes. It's been a while. We need another memory. We do need a third memory. I was right and I didn't even know it. Right? Do I go look this up or do I just wing it? I'm going to wing it. I think we also need a memory 0. I don't want to put that on the floor. Because what we want to do is we want to cap, or do we want to min? Okay, we're working through this. We want to either give it the result of the equation or a minimum or a maximum value. So let's actually start turning these guys on. Before I do that, let's try and buy ourselves a little bit more power. Well, we're probably almost halfway through the day. When I pause like this, I'm looking to see if the efficiency is going up or down. I like to try to put the solar panel ahead of where the sun is. It just, I don't know, makes more sense to me. Let's get rid of this guy for the moment. Now we were going to start turning things on. So the batch reader should be safe to turn on. And we should get the solar angle from that. Yep, 87, 87. Subtract 15. Yep, 74 looks right-ish. Divide. Yeah, this guy looks like it should be right-ish as well. No, that's not right. Where is it? 56. Okay, so yeah, that's right. We're past halfway through the day. So normally this should be reading from the min-max because we need to clamp the value, but I want to get it tracking. Oops. So we'll take the batch writer and we're going to tell it to write to solar panel vertical, and the input is going to be divide by 1.5. Yeah, and because we're not tracking the second axis of the sun, if you can see it's not directly over us, we're not getting perfect efficiency, and I'm okay with that. So the next thing we need here is we need to clamp it. And I forget what happens. At the beginning of the day, let's think about it at the end of the day. At the end of the day, this will get to 180, which means the subtract will get to 165. That's not right. What am I doing wrong? Been a while. Okay, so back at the beginning of the day, this will be negative 15, or this will be 0, negative 15. Yeah, we need a memory 0. That's what it was. I don't want to put this on the floor, but not laid things out very optimally. Junction, corner, corner. Okay, and then we'll call this memory 0. It's already set to 0, so nothing changed there. And what we want on this guy is we want divide by 1.5. No, we don't want to turn it on. I need the screwdriver. That's what I'm doing wrong. We want the yeah, this is where the panel gets weird. When the percentage goes over 100. My head hurts. Is this supposed to be 100 then? So we want the minimum so we want the lesser of divide by 1.5 and memory 100. And then we want, I'll turn it off because when you're changing this, weird things happen. I haven't named that, so yeah. Yeah, so this guy's tracking backwards now, which is what we expect. So solar angle reader. Yeah, okay, so it tracks back overnight. That's the thing. And then let's look at, ooh, our large battery did get charged overnight, so we'll go ahead and heal that. So this guy's gonna die any minute because the solar logic is taking a certain amount of power. These, I think, are each 25 watts per tick. And the logic reader and writer, I believe, are 10. And the memories don't take any power, nor does the solar sensor. So we're at 75, 85, 95 watts, which will drain a small battery fairly quickly. I think it's like 4 something minutes. And what I wanted to do, hang on, oh, there we go. There's the power. I'm going to puzzle this out and come back to you. Okay, so as you can see, the sun is coming up. I have kickstarted our solar system by plugging a battery from here into there. In fact, once this guy should get charged. Actually, swap these guys. That'll be fine. So I jump started it, and I extended our wall a little bit because I didn't like building on the ground down there. And I've added a logic reader, a select, and a memory. Sorry, this is... Oh, this guy should be a memory 100. Yeah. So this is our memory 100 that I need to relabel. I moved it. And then turn off the light. Sorry, I meant to put that away. What I'm hoping to do with the select is a select has 2 inputs, and it'll use input 0 or 1 based on the value of the select. What I want to have the select do is take either the clamped maximum of 100 or the value of 0. So, and we may need to switch around which they'll be. We can actually, yeah, as long as we're not writing it anywhere, we can turn this on and sort of experiment with this. So what I want is I want to read, sorry, I keep changing things when they're on, and I said don't do that. So we want to read the solar sensor again, because there's a setting on there C, you can hit C to go backwards. So that we can I want to read the daylight sensor. And the setting on here is, so there's mode, which chooses whether it's horizontal or vertical. Activate, I don't know exactly what that does. Solar angle, we know what that does. There's a hash. On, wait a second. Maybe it is activate. Oh, I want to turn that on. So this grid sunlight, yes or no, is available. Maybe it says activate. So let's turn this guy on. Yeah. So this will go between 0 and 1, and our select operates between 0 and 1. I actually think it operates between 0 and above 1. Or sorry, 0 and anything else. But in order not to introduce additional problems, let's leave it as it is. So we want the select for this to be the do we want to bother renaming this? Yeah, let's call this reader daytime. Yeah, sure. So we want this to be reader daytime. And then if it's daytime, when it's 1, we want to select input 2, which we want to be the min-max. Which I don't think I've named. Yeah, logic min-max. And if it's 0, so it's not daylight, we want, and here's where we can be a little bit tricky. We need a 0 somewhere as an input because, ordinarily we'd use a memory. But I'm being lazy and I don't want to add another one. Well, it turns out this logic reader will read 0 when active is 0, and 0 is also the value we want. So, excuse me, just gotta have a quick snack. So we'll use the value of this reader as the other input as well. A bit cheeky. Reader daytime. So in theory, this should, yeah, so right now it's giving us 82, which is going to be, yeah, fit that. And then if we hurry, we can actually see if this will work. Reader daytime. Oh, I didn't name it, did I? Logic select. Yeah, so right now this guy is, right, okay. And so we'll stay right here. And we're at, what are we at? 86% of the day. Okay, so to see if this works, oh, I hope it works. I'll catch up with you just before we get to 99 or just before the sun sets. It just did it. So now we have no sun. So the logic select switched to 0. Grid sunlight is no. We have 0 degrees. And this guy went back to 0. Awesome. And so, okay, what I was misremembering is this circuit, ordinarily you would also have another min-max. And that min-max would clamp the lower end because at the beginning of the day, we would have the potential of a low solar angle, 0 degrees, minus 15 is negative 15, divided by 1.5 is negative 1. And we don't want to send that to the solar panel. So what we would do is we would have another min-max and we would clamp the low end to 0. But by replacing that with a select unit, and we do need an additional logic reader, so we have added 10 watts, but we can do the same thing. We're clamping it to 0 based on whether the sun is up or not. Oh, this is nice. So, cool. So what should be happening is, yeah, this guy's going to discharge, but the panels are already back to 0. Let's grab the wrench to just confirm that. Yeah, vertical 0. I mean, it should have been, but, you know, can't hurt to confirm. Oh, that's my solar wrench, which we won't need for very much longer. And then, there we go. Hey, did that not? Did that not charge at all through the day? Cool. And okay, so this guy's dead now. Our solar network is not getting any power. Our logic is off, but the solar panel's at 0. Nice. So in the morning, when the sun starts to rise, we'll get a trickle of power, which will mount the power side, charge both of our APCs. They will fight for some power, but I'm okay with that. If at the beginning of the day we have like some fluctuating, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Yeah, that's cool actually. So yeah, I'll take care of some other things around the base during the dark, and meet you back here a little before sunrise. So here we are back. The sun is coming up. The daylight sensor now reads yes. It reads 3 degrees. Our circuits have all powered up, and uh-oh. We may actually still need that minimum value. Maybe not. The panel's not freaking out. It seems to actually be clamped. Let's see what happens when we get above 0. In theory, we should start tracking. Yeah, okay. That's cool. Cool, so it seems to be working as intended. The select is choosing based on this logic reader, which is choosing based on whether the sun is present or not. You have explained it. Overnight, I did a couple of other things. I smelted just a bit of copper because I have some plans. I moved some batteries around, but didn't really accomplish anything with it. But I went into the research machine and had a look at what it's going to take to build the kit battery. Because now that we have solar tracking, with just, some little battery cells, we're not capturing as much of that energy as we could. In fact, if we just left this cell will probably be, it was nearly, it did die overnight. And now that we're getting, 90 something percent efficiency the entire day, it's likely going to fill up before we get through the day. So we're not going to capture all the sun unless we swap cells over. So now the next thing we have to babysit is making sure we have dead cells in our APCs to get to get a full charge out of everything, which is not very practical. So the next thing we kind of want is a stationary battery. But in order to do that, we need a furnace, and we're going to need steel. And also, because I have the research mod turned on, we need to research it. So over on this guy, if we look at production and heavy power infrastructure, that's what gets us the kit cable coil and the kit battery. So we're going to want to do that. In fact, just use up some of our power. One of the other things I did was I put the network analyzer in the tablet because I was curious about the idle power on these devices now, and what it ended up being is this guy idles at 100, but it also looks like its actual consumption is 100. So that's interesting, as we're processing anyway. The logic, not the logic, the research capsules. Um, I did verify the arc furnace, so we're at 100, at 105, so the arc furnace idles at 5 watts, which is what we expected. But I thought these guys also idled at 5 watts, and they don't. They idle at 100 watts. So yeah, the other night when I thought, oh, I'll just go out and leave these on overnight, that won't be a problem. Well, not only had I left the 5 watts in the arc furnace, but I left either the printer or the auto lathe on and this guy. So I was like maybe 205 watts running overnight. So of course my large battery cell was nearly depleted overnight. In fact, now that this is done, well, I guess we can go in and we want heavy power production, so let's grab that while we're here. But then we're going to turn it off because this guy sucks a lot of power. Yeah, so overnight I figured out that, in fact, yeah, the idle power consumption of the manufacturing machines is much higher than I thought it was. And either I remembered it wrong or maybe it's gone up. I don't know. So this, hopefully that'll finish up. And hopefully this guy will finish up. Oh, is this guy? Why is this not charging? Are we in the shadow of something? Maybe the machines? Huh, weird. So yeah, well, we have sunlight. I also smelted up, I told you I smelted up some copper. I'm going to smelt up. Yeah, we'll want some, actually, let's start with iron, because it goes fast. But I'm going to smelt up another full stack of copper and of iron, because in addition to building the battery kit, which we now have access to, or should anyway, yeah, there it is. So we need gold, copper, and steel for that. Once we have that, now we're not efficiently using our solar because we're just not capturing enough energy, so we'll want to add a couple of solar panels. And those are also built here. And they take a bit of iron, small amount of gold, but 20 copper, so we're going to want a bit of that hanging around. Now that I know how much, yeah, okay, I want to make sure I turn that off. We'll put that in there. Oh, and the other thing I was looking at that's going to need iron, gold, and copper is the kit furnace, which incidentally we don't have to research anything for, or if we do, we've already researched it. And that guy takes 30 iron and 10 copper. We're going to want that because we need to make steel soon. So yeah, that's yeah, I will. What do I want to do while we wait? How's our suit battery? It's at medium, and there we go. That guy's full. So now we want to stay on top of it. So yeah, what I will do is get this stuff together. And in the next episode, we will start by building a furnace, maybe somewhere over here. I would make some more space, but we're running out of frames. I guess we could make some more frames. Yeah, so in the next episode, I think we're going to build a furnace so we can start building steel, so we can start building batteries, and maybe extending our solar array. We'll see. Thanks for checking me out. If you have any feedback, I'd greatly appreciate hearing about it. I don't think I'm going to be a full-time YouTuber, but it would be, if there are things you think I could do better, I'd be certainly open to hearing about it. Thanks again. Still don't have a sign off. So I was going to say hasta mañana, but I already did hasta luego. Auf Wiedersehen? Is that right?